community. We would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which Hampton Park Secondary College is located. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We also extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people joining us today. So just a bit of a rundown of what today's presentation, the format of the presentation, what it will be like. It will go for approximately 60 minutes and we'll cover the following key areas. So what is VCE, what is VCAL, what is VET, and what are some other options? We do ask that during the presentation that if you have any questions that to use the chat function and we'll be able to answer them as we go along. We do have staff on standby ready to answer those questions and we might, or the alternative, we might answer your questions verbally at the end of each section. Just some housekeeping for the meeting. If you could please keep your microphone muted, that would be much appreciated. With your video off, you will see a few staff members' faces with the video on. We'll be presenting so you can get familiar with the staff and the faces of the people presenting throughout this session. Please only use the chat to ask questions, and tonight's session is also being recorded for viewing later on. So I'd like to introduce the Senior Sub-School team of 2021. So these staff members are available to ask questions, answer questions for students. We're all in the Senior School office and available to support people in pathway discussions and also available to refer people to the appropriate areas, whether that's a careers practitioner or other areas of the college. So we do have Ms. Kira Vella. She is our Senior Sub-School Assistant. We have Mr. Darren O'Connor and Miss Virginia Vong, who's also here today to present our VCE component of today's presentation. We have Miss Leah Green, who is also here in our presentation to present information on VCAL. We have Miss Catherine Glenn, myself, Georgie Kios, Miss Martin, who's our VCAL curriculum coordinator, and she's also here to present some information on VET pathways today, and our assistant principal, Miss Eloise Haynes. So I'm going to hand over to Miss Vong to talk about what is VCE. She's currently in the office with me right now, so give us a second while we do a quick laptop switch and we'll go through that presentation with you.
Okay, hello everyone. So welcome to the VCE part of our info night. So firstly, what is VCE? I guess this is the program, the senior program, which is a bit more familiar to most people. It stands for Victorian Certificate of Education. And across Victoria, it is the program that most students choose to undertake. And you can see here the stats. Last year, there were over 50,000 students who completed their VCE. And something that's really, really important to recognise is that most students do complete it over 2 years, but it can be done over 3 years. And it is a path that we recommend to some students to support the most successful outcome of their VCE. So VCE, we have to think about whether it's the right choice. It's not always going to, it's not the default program. You do have to consider if it's the right thing for you. So let's take a look at what VCE and who VCE will suit. So we've got a few dot points here. So if you want to study a variety of subjects, so, you know, not just your maths and English, but, you know, product design, you've got engineering, VisCom, all sorts of areas to be looking at studying. You enjoy working in teams or independently. And you're interested in studying subjects that are a bit more theoretical. So even though we've got here that there are VCE subjects that can have a practical component, it is important to note that most VCE subjects are theory-based. And it's important that you have good independent working skills, including study skills. So VCE may not be the right choice for you if you don't have strong self-management or organisational skills. And that's because in VCE you are, we'll look at the standard programs in the next couple of slides, but you are studying, you know, 5 or 6 subjects concurrently, and you need to be able to manage all of them. VCE may not be the right path for you if you're looking at more practical based subjects, so meaning hands-on. If you prefer to work in more teams and projects on your assessment, VCE also may not be for you. And if you already have a strong career pathway or direction that doesn't need VCE, then you don't need to do VCE. So we're going to look at the standard timetables for a standard year 11 student who's doing VCE and a standard year 12 student who's doing VCE. So a standard Hampton Park student in year 11 will undertake 6 unit 1 and 2 subjects, and that must include English or EAL. Every student in our school will also, from next year, have a 1 period a week in mentor. Just something I'd like to include that's not written there is that if any students here are accelerating, then you will not in year 11 have 6 unit 1 and 2 subjects, as you have started, I guess, your VCE journey early. So that will look a little bit different. In year 12, the standard student will undertake 5 unit 3 and 4 subjects. Again, must include English or EAL. Students will also have 1 session a week in mentor. In year 12, though, you do have 3 study periods per week. And that's just to allow time to catch up, meet up with your teachers, and to have that time, I guess, to prepare for all the assessments required. And here you can see just a sample of a year 11 VCE student timetable. So 6 subjects, English being one of them. This student here in this sample has a VET subject. They have got English, mentoring, legal studies, general maths, health and human development, and business management. So that's a sample, you know, that's a big variety of subjects in different areas, but that is, yeah, a standard year 11 VCE timetable without acceleration. Give you a second to look at that. Here we've moved on to a sample year 12 VCE timetable. The red highlighted ones are the study periods. So you can see those 3 periods a week. In this sample, the student has business management, health and human development, EAL, further maths, and legal studies. Okay, we'll move on to the next slide now. So I've been using these words, units 1 and 2, units 3 and 4. I guess this language is quite unique to VCE and our studies. So all VCE subjects are organised into units. So rather than the default referring to them with year levels, we do refer to them as units. So most of our year 11 subjects, or the subjects that you would be likely to study in year 11, or your first subjects in VCE, are referred to units 1 and 2. And it's broken up into each semester. So semester 1 of general maths, for example, would be called unit 1 of general maths. And then in the year 12 level, so most subjects will finish with an exam at the end of the year. They are referred to as our units 3 and 4 subjects. And again, so each unit, unit 1, 2, 3 and 4, they take 1 semester each. And I guess the standard program would be that you do your 1 and 2 in year 11, 3 and 4 in year 12. Now within each unit, there are outcomes which contain a set of key knowledge and key skills that a student must be able to demonstrate to a satisfactory level. So that's the work throughout the semester. Now, what do students need to do to be awarded their VCE at the very end of it? It's all about achieving a satisfactory number of units. So a standard student, typical student at HP, the way it's structured, they are given the opportunity to achieve 22 units, and you can see the breakdown in year 11 and year 12 there. But the minimum requirement gets mandated by VCAL is that a student must complete a minimum of 16 units. So we give our students the opportunity to complete more so that there is no, I guess there's the security if there are subjects that are more challenging or they need to be moved from subjects, things like that. But in addition to the number of units that must be completed, there has to be 3 units of English or EAL, 2 of which must be at the unit 3 and 4. And then in addition to that, there must be an additional 3 unit 3 and 4 sequences. In other words, another, I guess, usually translates to 3 subjects, but that can be, yeah, it translates to 3 subjects. All right, so here we've got a sample of how someone might go through their VCE. Here we've got Manmeet and her program that she's been completing. So she accelerated in year 10, meaning she got a head start in her VCE program. So in year 10, she undertook psychology units 1 and 2. So as a year 10 student, she was in a class with mostly year 11 students to complete that. So that's 2 units completed in year 10. And this is what I was saying before. So this is when a year 11 student wouldn't have the 6 units 1 and 2 subjects because one of them was already completed the year before. So Manmeet in year 11, she had English, methods, psychology, health, English, maths, health, French and legal studies all at units 1 and 2. But the psychology there was at units 3 and 4. So she completed that year 12 level subject in year 11. And then you can see that psychology finished in year 11, so that translates to her study period. And then she continued all her other year 11 or all her other units 1 and 2 subjects into year 12. So at the end of it, 24 total units for Manmeet. She's got that, she's achieved over the minimum requirement of 16 to achieve her VCE. And once a student starts VCE, or if they've already started, you'll be hearing a lot of new words and acronyms as well. A big one is SAC, most commonly heard here, but there are subjects with SATs as well. So the most common one, SAC, it stands for School Assessed Coursework. And then there are subjects with School Assessed Tasks, or SATs. So these are assessments in which students are assessed in their VCE, and so as the name suggests, it's all based in school, so completed at school, and they are developed by the classroom teachers. Now, at units 3 and 4, the SAC and SAT scores will contribute to a student's study score. So each subject will be a little bit different, but a percentage of the final study score will be from the school assessed coursework. Another word that comes up a lot is outcome and outcome tasks. So I'll give you just a few seconds to have a look at that graph in the top right-hand corner. So within a unit, you can have a couple of outcomes. So again, different subjects will have different requirements which are created by VCAL. And so for this sample subject, we've got 2 outcomes, and within the outcomes, there are certain tasks that need to be completed satisfactorily to be able to tick off that outcome. So I guess I've summarised the dot points there. Anyway, I'll just double check that I've covered it. Yes, so with outcomes, you know, when you do tasks, it could be graded within the classroom, but at the end of it, what gets recorded is a satisfactory or non-satisfactory. And you must get the S result on all outcome tasks to get that S overall for the unit. And here we've got now a couple of minutes if there have been any questions. So this has been about VCE so far. If you have any questions about the terminology or the program, please type it in the chat now and we'll get to as many of them as we can. So we'll give a couple of minutes for that before we move on to the next section. Okay, so I think we don't have any questions for now. If questions do come up, don't hesitate to type it in the chat and we'll be able to get to it later on. So next we have Miss Leah Green, who will talk about the VCAL program.
Perfect. Thanks so much. Welcome, guys. Again, thank you so much for jumping on and joining us tonight. And like we mentioned before, I'll be taking you through VCAL tonight, the next section. And over the next few slides, hopefully we'll be able to answer your questions in relation to what VCAL is. But of course, like we said, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to post those in the chat, and there'll be a staff member that will be able to answer those for you. So yeah, we'll start with what is VCAL. So VCAL stands for Victorian Certificate of Applied Learning. And last year, there were 14,529 students across Victoria who were actually successful in completing this VCAL qualification. I guess in comparison to the two, VCAL is recognised as a more practical option for students, and it's designed to prepare students for further education, training or employment opportunities. In VCAL, you study 5 core subjects, which are literacy, numeracy, personal development skills, or known as PDS, work-related skills, and like in VCE, we also have 1 mentoring session a week that all students participate in. So looking at is VCAL the right choice for me, some things that you need to consider is it is the right choice for you if you have a good idea already of the direction or the career pathway that you're looking to explore. You're interested in studying subjects that are more practical. You enjoy working in teams or on group projects, which is very common across all subjects in VCAL. But in saying that, you also need to have a good balance of being able to work independently and have a good time management, sense of time management. At the moment, you know, VCAL might not be the right choice for you to explore if you are not too sure what you're wanting to do in the future. You don't enjoy working with others because, like I said, a lot of it is project-based. And if you do not really wish to apply these subjects in the real world in your future endeavours. So that's something to start considering and start thinking about during this presentation. Next, we will move into the different levels of VCAL. So as it stands, we have 3 different levels, and you can see in this table here. So foundation, which is typically studied at year 10, intermediate level, which is studied in year 11, and senior, which is typically studied in year 12. So essentially what that means is the support or the assistance that you get from the teacher is different for each level. So if you're working at a foundation level, and typically in year 10, you will have quite a lot of support from your teacher, and it'll be linking to everyday contexts and skills and developing your knowledge that way. If you are working at an intermediate level, which again is typically studied at year 11, the teacher support is reduced a little bit. So of course there is still some support from your teacher, but it's an expectation that you're able to demonstrate the skill or the knowledge a little bit more independently. So this, in terms of the subjects that I mentioned earlier, are about applying the skills and the knowledge to a few unfamiliar and challenging contexts that you might be faced in the real world. And then lastly, at your senior level, which is again predominantly studied in year 12, it's an expectation that you are able to complete set tasks and outcomes without any support. So it's very independent. Of course, obviously you still have a teacher in the classroom there to support you, but it's an expectation that you can demonstrate that skill quite independently. So what we're going to have a look at now on the next slide is a standard timetable for our pre-cal students, and this is something that we're going to be exploring next year in 2022. So if you are a current Year 9 student and you already have a pretty good idea on what you would like to do in the future, this might be a really good opportunity. Now, in the past, we have had this as foundation VCAL, but with the new structure, it'll be the pre-cal structure for 2022. So if you have a look at this timetable here, you can see that you will engage in the following subjects. So you'll have literacy, your personal development skills, your numeracy, and then you will have your mentoring, which I said, which is once a week. And I guess the only difference is that you will have 3 classes a week, which will be your industry and enterprise or an enhanced choice, and then 3 subjects a week, which you can see in the pink as an enhanced choice there. So if you study the industry and enterprise, you're able to gain credits and complete work experience also. If this is something that you are looking to study and you would like to get a little bit more information, it will be following an application and an interview process. So if that sounds like it might be for you, I would really encourage you to have a chat to Miss Martin or come and see any of us in the senior school team. We'll be more than happy to give you a little bit more information on that. I also would just like to mention before we move to the next slide that pre-cal students can choose to study a VET as well. Okay, so that will mean that you can be, if you're a current Year 9 student next year in 2022, you could be following this timetable and also choosing to do a VET subject, which we'll explore a little bit more in the What is a VET section. So I am going to move on now to what a standard timetable looks like for a Year 11 and 12 VCAL student in 2022. So this has had a little bit of a change as well, and there will be a new structure. I'll just wait because I've got the pre-cal structure timetable up. Perfect. So hopefully you can all see now the standard timetable for Excel, which is our Year 11 and our Year 12 students. This will be a little bit different for 2022 in that you will be required to be at school 4 days of the week. And then on the Wednesday, you would be looking to do your internal or your external VET course. So again, the way that it'll look is that you will do literacy, PDS, which is your personal development skills, numeracy, and your work-related subject. And then on the Wednesday, you would either do an internal VET, which means done at the college, or external, which might be at a Chisholm or a community centre, and we'll explore that a little bit more. So some VCAL choice there in the yellow, which you have 3 times a week, is an opportunity for you to do skills for further study, or you might like to pick up a VCE subject. And the VCE subjects that we will have available bridging EAL, drama, food studies, health and human development, legal studies, and product design. Perfect. So we're going to have a look now at what is a credit. So a credit is a point that counts towards your overall VCAL certificate. And these credits come from the VCAL subjects, your VCE subjects, and your VET modules and units that you study throughout the year. To be awarded your VCAL certificate or your VCAL qualification, you must successfully complete a program that contains a minimum of 10 credits in total. So on the next few slides, we'll have a look at, I guess, the structure of that and what you need to do to be awarded your VCAL certificate. So to obtain a VCAL certificate, students must maintain a minimum of 10 credits, and 6 credits must be from the level. 6 credits must be from the level that they are working from to be able to achieve the current level that we're working at. I am just going to pause there for a little second and wait for our slides to catch up.
I'm sorry, Miss Green, I'll have to apologise to everyone. We've got a couple of don't know what happened there with going back in the slides, but also it's come to our attention. We've had a few students message us privately that some are having trouble asking questions in the chat. So if you do have these questions, Miss Vong has put a post in the chat section. If you could send her a private message, and if you can't post in the group here, we'll cut them across and answer them. So sorry, Miss Green, we'll be trying to sort that out.
That's good. That would probably explain why we're not having any questions come through. We thought you were all so shy. So continuing on, so over the 10 credits, you must have at least 1 literacy unit, a numeracy unit, a PDS unit, a work-related, and credits obtained from your VET course. So we are going to look at Faye as an example. So Faye is a current Year 12 student studying with us, and this is her current structure. So in Year 11, she completed her intermediate VCAL certificate, and she received 2 points for literacy, or 2 credits, 2 for numeracy, 2 for personal development, work-related, and she studied an internal VET, which was sport and recreation, which gave her a total of 11 credits. Currently, like I said, Faye is going for her senior VCAL certificate, and you can see here the total credits. So for literacy is 2, for numeracy is 1, personal development is 2, work-related is 2, and she has continued on with her sport and rec and is now doing the second year of that VET for 2 credits, being a total of 9 credits. So if Faye passes all of her Year 11 subjects, then she will obviously qualify for intermediate VCAL, and then she'll be on her way to successfully completing her senior VCAL. Right, so we're moving on now to why VET is important in a VCAL program, and I do just want to point out that we have a whole section dedicated to VET that Miss Martin will take you through, but I just want to give you a little overview that VET stands for Vocational Education and Training, and it is a compulsory requirement that you must study a VET course as part of your VCAL program. So like we mentioned earlier, VET can also be an option for VCE students or a Year 10 student as well. VET courses actually help you meet industry-specific skills and will assist you in your overall VCAL qualification. And VET courses also give students practical study and experience in their chosen field of interest or future career pathways. Again, we'll explore that a little bit more in the VET section of this presentation. So a few more slides from me, and then we will hopefully have some questions. So what is SWL, or work placement? So SWL stands for Structured Work Learning, or is sometimes called work placement by the staff and the students at Hampton Park Secondary College. And from 2022, students will have blocks of time during the year to complete work placement requirements. Students must also complete a Safe at Work module and have paperwork approved before starting your work placement. And this is related to a general module that you'll have to complete and then an industry specific. So if you were looking to do business management or study community services or sport and recreation, it's compulsory that you would complete a Safe at Work module related to your relevant VET course. It is a responsibility of the student to organise their own work placement. And once again, it gives students a really important industry experience to assist in their future fields of work. So, we'll just jump back to the last. Can you go back? Yeah. Excellent. So this is something that we get quite regularly, this question here. So can my student go to university if they follow a VCAL pathway? And there are plenty of misconceptions around this idea, but the answer is actually yes. Yes, your student is able to go to university if they follow a VCAL pathway. Senior VCAL in the qualification is a recognised Year 12 level qualification, and it can lead to further study at a TAFE or a university if required. Perfect. Now, lastly, before we go to any questions about the VCAL component, I just want to go through what types of assessment we do in VCAL. And it's really heavily focused on using project-based learning or PBL. So some examples of assessment for VCAL students in the past are in VCAL literacy, looking to create your own how-to YouTube video and explain this skill to others. We also, this term, have gone to the Melbourne Zoo, and our students are writing an instructional report or informative report on that animal. In VCAL numeracy, we design and produce wooden toys, and we can donate to a local community. I know at the moment in numeracy and senior VCAL, they're looking to build and construct a Gaga pit. And our VCAL PDS is very group-based and focuses on a lot of group work. And there's some examples of being able to create or improve a space. So, for example, we've built an Indigenous Garden in spaces of the school, and you can see that from last year, the picture on the right there. Perfect. So I am going to stop talking and I'm going to give you an opportunity to ask some questions. I know that we can't have it in this chat, but yes, if you have any questions, please jump onto Teams and message one of us. That would be fantastic. And again, thank you so much for jumping on. Of course, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to get in contact with any of us. I will wait a few minutes and then I'm going to pass over to Miss Martin and she's going to take us through what is VET. Thanks, guys.
Hi everybody. Just before we move on to the what is VET section, I just want to respond a bit more to that question that asked about our internal VETs being currently as a part of the timetable. So in 2021, we offer our internal VETs as an extra subject where students can access during our timetable. From 2022 onwards, these will sit outside our timetable on a Wednesday afternoon. So what this means is our VCE students will still be able to access the VET courses. However, it would be on that Wednesday afternoon in that extra learning time. And what that does is allows the students to be in a full course. We can dedicate more time to it, and it also gives us more authentic learning opportunities where we can get out and get involved and do things in the community. All right, well, I might continue on with the What is Vet section of our presentation tonight. My name is Brianna Martin and I'm the VCAL and the Vet Curriculum and Practice Leader here at Hampton Park Secondary College, and I'm going to be speaking to you tonight about what is vet in a little bit more detail. All right, so what is vet and how is it different to VCAL and VCE? Vet stands for Vocational Education and Training. Vet courses combine study with industry to provide people with workplace skills and technical knowledge to help them advance their career, both now and in the future. Vet courses are different because they are an extra qualification. They're connected to the workplace, they have practical studies within, and they assess students based on their level of competencies. What we've got here is just two different sets of data that talk about what vet looks like currently in schools in Australia at the moment. So you can see here on the left-hand side that 235,800 students completed vet in schools in 2019. The most popular level of qualification is our Cert 2 level, and that is the level that we offer for majority of our internal vets at Hampton Park Secondary College. On the right-hand side, it's got a breakdown of the 10 most popular training packages that students choose to study, and they range anywhere from tourism, business, sport and recreation, foundation skills, construction, plumbing services, community services, ICT, agriculture, and many, many more. You might be asking yourself now, is vet the right choice for me? So some things to consider if you're interested in undertaking a vet study is, are you somebody who has a strong interest or passion for a particular pathway, area or career? Do you want to gain practical experience in this area whilst you're still at school? Are you interested in being assessed based on your competency? Do you want to gain an extra qualification on top of your VCE? And do you actually need to undertake a vet study as a part of your VCAL program? Vet might not be the right choice for you if you're somebody who doesn't have an interest or a passion in a particular field and you are not committed to the completion of the course, and this generally runs anywhere from 1 to 2 years. Again, this is just a little bit of an expansion on some questions that you should be asking yourself if you're considering taking a vet course. The first one is, what am I actually passionate about? What are my strengths? What careers will allow me to follow my passions and develop my strengths? How can I get a better understanding of different career opportunities? What job opportunities are there for me in the future? What qualifications will help me get the job that I want? And what are my long-term goals? Who can study a vet subject? So vet is an option available to all of our students from years 10 to 12 at Hampton Park Secondary College. In order to study a vet subject, you must be 15 when you start your course, and students can either study a vet course internally, so at Hampton Park Secondary College, or you can study externally at a TAFE or an RTO. You can see on the picture on our slide here, we have an example of some of our students who complete an internal vet, and as a part of their program, they were able to complete a first aid and a CPR certificate. All of our vet courses, both internal and external, have costs associated with them. They must be paid before a student can be enrolled in the course. Of course, you also have the opportunity to set up a payment plan to make those costs as well. So why should you choose a vet subject? A vet course is a nationally recognised qualification. It also builds employability and technical skills. Vet courses help to gain specialised and industry knowledge, and vet courses can open up further employment opportunities. They can set you apart from the crowd. What we have here on this slide are some examples of the internal vets that we'll be offering at Hampton Park Secondary College from next year. So we are offering a Certificate 1 in Employment Pathways, and that is a 1-year course. We are also offering a Certificate 2 in Business, a Certificate 2 in Community Services, and a Certificate 2 in Information, Digital Media and Technology. These 3 courses are also 1-year courses. We have a really exciting new program that we're running at HP next year, which is called our Paddock to Product program. So what that one is it's a 2-year program, and within those 2 years, you undertake a mixture of units of competencies from a kitchen operations Cert 2 and also a business Cert 2. So at the end of the 2 years, you walk away with 2 qualifications, which is pretty awesome. And we also offer a Cert 3 in sport and recreation, and that is completed over 2 years. So our vet courses run subject to student choice and also the numbers that choose the subject in order for us to have enough spaces. We also here have a picture of an example of the kind of assessment that you can undertake during your vet course. So there are some practical components, and this example here, our vet business and employment pathway students learn all about OH&S and workplace safety whilst undertaking an excursion to go-karting and having a bit of a safety briefing there. So I've just gone through the vets we are offering at Hampton Park next year, and there are so many different vet courses you can undertake at different providers. So these are just some of the examples of vet courses that students this year are currently undertaking, and they are equine studies, electrotechnology, building and construction, hair and beauty, engineering, plumbing, music industry, automotive, allied health, applied fashion design and technology, screen and media, and animal studies. And that's just a small selection of all of the different ones that are available to students. I can see a question just come in, and I'll answer that now whilst we're on the vet topic. At the moment, vets only really do a start of year intake, so there has been a handful of vets that are offering a mid-year intake at the moment, and off the top of my head, they are community services, business, and then I think also the employment pathways. So there are a couple of opportunities, but you're probably best to wait for next year. Feel free to come and see me once we're back at school, and I can give you some more information about those vets. We do also have a really unique program running at Hampton Park Secondary College, and that is called an SBAT. So what that is a school-based apprenticeship or traineeship, and what that does is combines your study with a vet course and also paid work. So you may have seen a few students on a Wednesday and a Friday walking around HP in their high-vis gear, and they're part of our Parks and Gardens SBAT. So what that looks like as a student is you attend 3 days of VCAL classes, you attend 1 day of your vet course, which is done at Hampton Park Secondary College, and then you have 1 day of paid work. So basically during that you are working in the Parks and Garden industry within the school and doing lots of modifications there. So if you're somebody who is interested in undertaking this SBAT, you need to select it in your course for course counselling, and then you need to undertake an application process. There are limited places available in this Parks and Gardens SBAT, so if you're somebody who is thinking about it and you may be interested, make sure you select it because it's a fantastic opportunity and we would hate for you to miss out. All right, thank you so much. And if you do have any questions about our vet program, both at Hampton Park and outside of Hampton Park, please feel free to send Miss Vong some questions, or if they come to you, you can send them to me directly as well. And we all live in senior school, so if it ever comes to you at school, please pop in and ask us.
I might just add there to Miss Martin's point, and while people are thinking of questions they might like to ask, on top of the senior school, you also have the middle school team who are really well versed on the different course pathways as well. I know a lot of Year 10s might be comfortable seeking support from Miss Lingard or Mr. Christensen, or the Year 9s going and seeing Miss JP or Mr. Cram, and you're more than welcome to do that. But we also have a really helpful careers team out working in the library, so they are also able to answer questions, especially about maybe some vet options, some pathway options. If you're still not quite sure what subjects might be best for you, there will be opportunities to discuss that in your course counselling interviews, but there's also time before then to get some information and seek support from some people who know a lot in the area that can give you some great guidance.
I've got a question. Oh, I'll unmute here. I've got a question for Miss Martin. I'm from Gila again. How can students find some more information about the VET courses on offer, external as well?
A great question. You can the best point for that is probably heading over to our careers team. They've got lots of different packs that you can take home that have basically what courses run, where they run, how much they cost, what kind of things you study, and they've got packs that you can take home to your families to discuss. But that would be probably the best option to go to. If not, you can always come and see one of us in the senior school and we can direct you in that area as well. All right, it looks like that might be all the questions we have about our VET program. Like I said, if anything comes to you at any time, please feel free to reach out to any of us. And I'm going to pass back now to Miss Chaos, who's going to speak a little bit about where to next.
So next term, Year 9s and 10s will be undergoing their course counselling process. Year 11s, if you're joining at the moment, your course counselling interviews begin next week and the timetable has just been released on Teams for you to have a look at when your interview time is. But it's a really good opportunity after this session to have a chat with your family and work out what are your interests, what kind of pathway are you thinking. And for Year 9 students, it's really a good chance to get your head around it early so you can really plan well for Year 10, 11 and 12. Again, questions do come up after we leave these presentations, after we have chats with your friends or your families. So please make sure that if you do have something that you come see us, send us a Teams message. Caregivers, we're happy for you to send us emails or call the school if you require any additional information. This isn't the ideal format for our senior pathways information. We did have a great evening planned for you all that, for obvious reasons, has had to have a last-minute change. I think I'm going to take this opportunity as well to thank the senior school team for giving up their time and presenting for you tonight. It is an additional task that we have requested of them, so we really appreciate that. But also the careers team, there's so much work that goes on in the background of this. We did have a night planned where we were having roughly 30 providers coming to the school to present from various places like Monash University, Deakin University, Australian Defence Force, Chisholm, and coming to give you more information, but obviously that's had to change. There is a link on Teams for students to get some virtual information from some of those providers. They've sent us some videos and links about more information about them, because it's always nice to consider where your goal might be for the long run to help you determine what you might do in terms of your VCAL or VCE pathways in Year 11 and 12. So something really to think about and checking out those extra links that are available to you as well. If you have no other questions, thank you for joining us and giving up your evening. We know it hits around dinner time for some people and there's lots of things going on in the household, so we appreciate you giving up your time, but we see it as a really important opportunity for us to support students in choosing the pathway that will lead them to something that will be successful for them, because that's what we're all about. We're all about making sure students can achieve success and do well in their chosen pathways, and we're here to support them in that process. If there's, again, no other questions, feel free to leave this call.
No, not yet. Feedback slide.
Oh, sorry, there is one more slide. I've talked about this, about another option is looking at your subject handbook, which is available on Compass. The Virtual Careers and Pathways Expo, which is the information I just talked about. And we would love for you to give us some feedback on ways we can improve for next year. Hopefully we'll be on site, but maybe there's some information that we missed, or maybe something you'd like to learn more about, and we can develop that information to send out to families if that's something that you're requesting. All you have to do is hold up your phone and scan the QR code and it will take you back to the feedback form, and that would be really helpful to us. Thank you once again.